It's up to us. It's up to our generation to set the blueprint for the next generations, right? To end these terrible, like, generational curses of nonsense, of ideas that no longer serve us, that hold us back from truly living, proud and authentically, in our own skin. A lot of us are first and second generation. The generation before us was just trying to find a way to survive, trying to find a way to get a better life. We have a level of privilege that they did not have. Many of them felt like they had to silence themselves for their own safety. We don't have that anymore. So it's time for us to speak up and unite together to really create this movement and create, a more inclusive community that is beneficial for all the generations to come. My name is Dramos, and I'm probably best known as the dude that sits next to DJ Envy on The Breakfast Club. And while that's been a dream come true, if we're being real, I'm also so much more than just that. I'm a DJ, a music producer, a TV personality, a radio and podcast host, but more importantly, I'm just a man taking life day by day, trying to make the best of it, while hopefully making this world a better place. And who knows, maybe my story will inspire some of y'all to do the same.
I know we're getting close to the wrap here. I don't know, before we move into Q&A, if you have any last words of advice or motivation for us. You've already said a lot.
I think for me, when I look around and I'm seeing like the chat of the people that are resonating, with this, I want to just remind you that like our time is now. We are our generation. We're gonna be the pioneers for what it means to be a Latino living in America. An American-born Latino. And we're living in a time period where, as much as people are maybe trying to push against it, there's far more acceptance for diversity, for diverse stories. You look at, Hollywood and even like a movie like Encanto, like how well it's doing. Like, we're proving, that we can have success telling our stories in this country, and that's only going to open more and more opportunities. And when you look at things like, the census, where our population is just growing at incredible numbers, like, we are going to have so much power, and it's up to us. It's up to our generation to set the blueprint for the next generations, right? To end these terrible, like, generational curses of nonsense, of ideas that no longer serve us, that hold us back from truly living, proud and authentically, in our own skin. And I think that, we just have to recognize that we have to take advantage of these opportunities, right now. Like, again, we're setting the blueprint. This has never been done. Like, a lot of us are first and second generation. The generation before us was just trying to find a way to survive, trying to find a way to get a better life. We have a level of privilege that they did not have. Many of them felt like they had to silence themselves for their own safety. We don't have that anymore. So it's time for us to speak up and unite together to really create this movement and create, a more inclusive community that is beneficial for all the generations to come. Like the door, doors that were once closed, they're cracked open now, and it's up to all of us to just unite and burst our way through those doors. I can't stress that enough. Like, we're having a moment, right now, and all of us, even in the smallest form, regardless of what you do, whether it's the way you teach your kids about how they're going to view life and the way that they're going to live life and represent themselves, like, all of that, is the work that we need to be doing, not passing down the trauma of the previous generations, onto our kids and things like that. Like, all of us have a part to do, regardless if you're, someone like myself who's going to be front facing, speaking in the media, or, you are someone who's enjoying a 9-to-5 lifestyle and raising a beautiful family. It's up to all of us to do our part, to really create, just an incredible addition to an already amazing legacy we have as Latinos.
Really appreciate, Dramos, you being here. It was such a thrill to work with you on this. I loved the message, and I hope I really appreciate everybody out there joining us today. And actually, somebody said, "Can you come back on a regular basis?" So maybe we'll see you again for like Hispanic Heritage Month or something like that.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I want to thank all of you guys for being a part of this and being so interactive and gracious for having me. And I last thing I do want to say, because I also want to say it's Black History Month, and I saw somebody mention this, and I feel remiss if I didn't mention this about, when we talk about correcting some of the errors of previous generations, the colorism that happens in our community is something that we need to come face to face with and understand that, we have African roots in our heritage, and we should proudly be honoring them. And I don't want anybody to ever feel like they aren't a part of this amazing culture that we have because of some nonsensical, sort of way that our previous generations acted just for safety. I think it's important at the end of the day to celebrate the beautiful culture that we have, but also understand that we have some work to do. And that also goes when you talk about machismo culture and talking about how my dad and me expected my mom to do all the work after coming home driving from the Bronx, like stuff like that is
still doing
exactly
that.
right. And listen, it's not okay. We all need to do our part, and understand that these ideals that were taught to us no longer serve us. And in order for us to progress to our highest potential, we have to get rid of them and not hand them down to another generation to fall victim to just these curses. We have to break the chain, which I think somebody said earlier in the chat, and I completely agree. So I just want to make sure I mentioned that, because I know a few people were talking about that. And the latest episode of the podcast is about Latin history, Black Latin history, I should say, so honoring Black History Month. So I want to make sure, as somebody of privilege who enjoys the privilege of, that comes along with having the preferred skin tone, unfortunately, of many of our media outlets, I want to make sure that I speak out on behalf of our Black brothers and sisters and let you guys know that, I stand here in solidarity with you guys, and y'all are very much a part of this culture, and you should always feel that way.